Hariom Laju uncle
Hariom.
and Hariom Kavita amma.
Hariom.
Little bit about Kamala amma, okay, and then your interactions with Pujya Gurudev. So speak about Kamala amma first.
Well, my mother Kamalaji, she was always a very, very deeply religious person. And as far back as I can remember as a little child, she always used to welcome swamis and people of from various different denominations. It's like she was searching for the right type of guru or person that who would be able to make her realize what she felt being closer to God. So ever since I can remember, right from our days in Hyderabad, Sindh, as a little child, we had various swamis and sadhus and priests coming in and out of the house. Mummy met Gurudev, and she met him somewhere in 1963 or 64. And she became quite friendly with two of the very close devotees of Gurudev. One was Mr. Jamnadas Murjani, and the other one was Ram Batraji. And in 1965 or 66, I can't remember which year it was, I came to Bombay from Nigeria. And one afternoon she said to me, she said, would you like to come with me to listen to Swami Chinmayananda? So I said, Mommy, you're always wanting to take me to different Swamis, and not really. She said, no, but he speaks in English, and I think he will appeal to you. So I said, no, I really don't want to go. She said, okay, I tell you what, do it as a favor to me, but come. So I said, okay, if you put it that way, I'll go with you. So I went with her that evening to Swamiji's yagna was going on at Azad Maidan. And I went and sat down and I listened. I was expecting, very little. And it so happened that I stayed there, and the next day when she was going to the yagna again, I went up to her and said, I'd like to go with you. So she said, how come? So I said, I think I would like to hear him again. So I went with her and I listened to Gurudev's prachar, and at the end of the lecture she told me, she said, come, I will introduce you to him. So she took me to the stage and she introduced me to him. You don't really believe in all this, do you? So I said, no, not really, but out of respect I do it. Okay. There's lots of questions you want to ask me, don't you? So I said, yes, there are many that I would like to ask you. So he said, all right. Then you come with me, and I'm taking such and such a flight, and I'm going to Madurai, and you and Mummy come along. So I went to Madurai, and over there I got a chance to talk to him one-on-one on the flight next to him. And after that, whenever I wanted to ask Gurudev something, I knew that the best thing would be to find out which flight he was going on and go and take the seat next to him. And so I managed to fly with him to Delhi, to Coimbatore, and as I said, to Madurai. And then I went back to Nigeria somewhere in 68 or 69. We arranged for Gurudev to come to Nigeria because Mummy said, he's ready to come, and if you can organize a yagna, and we can go from there to Canary Islands also. And so we organized a yagna for Gurudev in Nigeria. And I didn't know very much about organizing yagnas.
How old were you?
I was just under 30, 29.
29, okay.
Yeah. So I started finding out exactly what is to be done, and we held his first yagna in Nigeria, and it was a success. And in Nigeria, I used to have one of the best doctors who was working, who was a friend of mine, Nigerian doctor, to come and give him an injection every day for his diabetes. And this is another side of Gurudev. He was waiting for the doctor to turn up one day. The doctor came late. And I saw, that was one of the first times I saw Gurudev give way to anger. And he says, "You can't be on time. I don't need your injection." So the doctor apologized and says, "I had a special emergency case. I had to attend to that little child, and then we got stuck in the school traffic. So I'm sorry, sir. Please forgive me." So he said, "All right." So he took his injection. I was very disturbed by this, and late in the afternoon when I took him his cup of tea, I said to him, "Gurudev, I have to ask you, Swamiji, I have to ask you something. You tell us that we should not give in to anger. And today you displayed this anger. How come?" So he says, "Since when did I claim to be faultless? If I had been faultless, I wouldn't be sitting here and talking to you. And you are right. I should not have lost my shirt. Get me that doctor on the line." So I picked up the phone, dialed the doctor, and gave him the phone, told Swamiji he is on the line. And Swamiji apologized to the doctor, said, "I'm so sorry that this afternoon when you came, I lost my patience and I got angry with you. I shouldn't have done that. Please excuse me." The first time I have seen that side of Gurudev also. And subsequent to that, I went with him to Beirut, where he was invited by late Kamal Jumlat, who was then the Minister for Interior. But he was also a keen follower of Hinduism. though he was the head of the Druze community of Lebanon. He was Minister for Interior, and he was the head of the Druze community, but he used to come to India every year and he used to meet Gurudev. So he invited Gurudev to come and lecture to have a short yagna or a series of lectures, and it was a series of lectures. So again it was my grandfather, my mother, myself, 4 or 5 of us. We flew to Lebanon and he conducted those lectures over there. And I mean, we were received like royalty because we had the Minister for Interior himself who came on board the flight to receive Gurudev and put him in his car. And our passports were taken there and then handed over to us when we got to the hotel. We didn't have to go through anything, luggage, all was transferred to the hotel we were staying in. But there was another thing that made such an impact on me, to see a person who was the head of another community, a head of another religious community, giving so much respect to Gurudev. I saw the same thing many years later in Sidhbari, when the Dalai Lama also met with him and paid so much respect to him.
Yes.
And I saw this with the successor of Dada T.L. Vaswani, the present head of the Sadhu Vaswani Trust, Dada Jashan, and he used to respect him. And I saw an amazing thing when one day he heard that Swami Gangeshwaranandji was in town. He told me I would like to go and visit him. So I said, okay, Swamiji. So we went to visit Swami Gangeshwaranandji. He was lying down as usual because of his age. And Swamiji used to wear those wooden
Kadao.
Yeah. And as he was walking in, Swami Gangeshwaranand said, Kaun? Chinmaya? You know that Swami Gangeshwaranand had been blind since birth, or as a very little child. And it was amazing. And his memory, even at that age, was so sharp. So when I bowed down to him, his attendant, who later on became the head of that mission, Swami Govindanandji, as I bowed to him, Swami Govindanandji said, Raju. He didn't understand. So he said, Raju. So I said, nahi Swamiji, Laju. अरे लाजू कमला माँ का बेटा ना वो ही है ना. So at that age he must have been late 90s that time. But with Gurudev, after that I travelled twice to Hong Kong.
Here, Gurudev and he, what was the dialogue like between both of them?
Oh, the dialogue was amazing. Gurudev himself has told me the story about once he and Gangeshwaranandji, Swami Gangeshwaranandji had a little discussion about the Gita.
Yeah, okay.
And Swamiji and Swami Gangeshwaranandji had a contrary interpretation of something, or discussing something, and Swami Gangeshwaranandji said, no, you can refer to the Gita. So they had the Gita brought out, And Swamiji started to read from it and continued reading, and immediately Swami Gangesharanand ji interrupted him and says, "Arey nahi, ek kagaz aapne zyada le liya hai. Wapas jaiye." So he had taken a double page, and it seems that Swami Gangesharanand used to listen to the Gita being recited and knew when the page was being turned. And this story was told to me by Gurudev himself. And he had a lot of respect for him. My mother, of course, once she met him, her total faith was reposed in him. And he used to tell her, in one of our past lives, or maybe the last one, you were my mother.
So Amma is his mother in one of his previous births.
And so he used to call her mummy, always called her mummy. And he always used to tease me because he used to call me Chotu. He says, now if she's my mummy, you're my younger brother.
Okay.
So you're Chotu. He says, you know, she loves me more than she loves you. For me, there was total belief. And of course, admiration, respect, beyond question. I remember when somebody would ask him, Swamiji, please, I need this thing, and grant me this boon. And he would turn around to say, he says, you see, I'm myself begging. If I could do that, you think I wouldn't be doing it for myself? The thing that you have to do is that you set yourself a goal and work for it. And you will achieve it. If you have confidence in yourself and you work hard, you will achieve it. So he taught me, he always, I think even during his lectures, always says, don't be a beggar in front of the Lord. All the time, I want this, I want this, I want this. He knows what you need, he'll give you that.
Yeah.
Don't be a beggar in front of him all the time, I want this. And he says, I'm not one of those, I'm a teacher. I don't claim to be a god. It's you people who put me up on a pedestal. I am there to guide you. I'm your guide, I'm your teacher. Beyond that, everything else is what you people want to see in me, rather than what I claim to be. So people used to tell me, you must be asking him this thing, you must be asking him. I said, no, I never ask him for anything, because he has taught me never to be a beggar. And I never go to him and say, Gurudev, can you see that this happens for me? Our most precious moments with Gurudev were early in the morning when he was staying with us. We would see his lights come on around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Every morning?
Every morning. We could always see from underneath the door the light come on. Because we always gave him our bedroom, which was completely done up. And so we even had made in our factory various range of bed linen with orange motifs. And so orange color and orange motifs, so he had that everywhere. And then at 5 5:15, Kavita would make him a cup of tea, and we would go into his room. We had that latitude. And he would be sitting and writing at the desk. We always had to have a desk for him, and plenty of writing paper, envelopes. And by that time there would be a stack of envelopes, because he used to respond to everyone with his own hand. There was no typing, no dictation, nothing. He would write with his own hand, and there would be a stack of letters. If he wanted to continue the conversation, then he would remove his glasses, rub his eyes, keep them, drink the tea. And to us that was a signal you can sit down and talk.
Okay.
But if he ignored us and continued writing, we would quietly leave the room. And we knew that he was not, he was preoccupied with something, and so we would leave the room. And as far as time was concerned, he was a stickler for time. One day, when he was staying with us in London, I came down, I think, 2 minutes late, and found he was about to take a taxi. And I was shocked, you know. I said, but Gurudev, he says, gave me a little piece of paper, which I had with me for a long time. It says, if you give someone the time, you do not have the right to be even 1 minute late. That was a little cutting from somewhere he had got it, and he gave it to me. Then he used to enjoy reading the magazine called Mad. And he read every kind of book.
Okay.
And at the end of that, whoever was around, and I was the recipient, one of the recipients of many of those magazines which he enjoyed, he would sit and laugh over that and then send it to me or give it to me. Then I used to record for him all the tennis matches
Okay.
of the Australian Open, the US Open, the English Wimbledon, the French Open, and I would keep them with me. And when he came to London, just after lunch, he would do that, and that meant we went to the room. I would switch on the TV, put in a video, and we would sit and watch.
Both of you?
92, when Mummy passed away, he said that to me. He said, she has gone to keep the place ready. The significance of that missed me totally.
Amma was a great one for attending to little things for Gurudev.
She, being a diabetic herself, understood some of the needs of another diabetic. So she knew that there was a kind of a heat generated
The feet.
And so she would, every time she came, she would bring out a cream which she carried in her purse, and she would sit and massage his feet. She would cut his nails.
He never allowed anybody to touch his nails.
He says,
Never.
but I'm not worried about her because I know she will never harm me. And so she would
Not
cut
only his nails, it was a beautiful sight to see them together. He would sit there and look out, and she'll say, Swamiji, can I clean your nails and can I rub cream for you? He said, okay, Amma, I'll be reading his newspaper. and she would attend to it. But very carefully, you know, she used to have a bowl of water, and she would dip a napkin in it, wipe his feet, wipe his nails, cut them, and then she'd take a cuticle cleaner and a file and file the nails so they wouldn't be sharp, and so that he wouldn't scratch himself. And then the side, you know, we have a foreskin here, a skin little, which gets hard. She would take a special file. She wouldn't cut that. She'd take a special file for that, you know, and rub that so that the skin would become soft. And then she'd take a cuticle cream, push back his cuticles. It was a beautiful sight to see Amma attending Gurudev's
His
feet
toenails and his
and
nails.
she would push the cuticle back and say, see, Guruji, Swamiji, I can see the half moon, I can see the half moon. It was so-
When he fell ill in Sidhbari, and we were there, and he went into Yole Camp Hospital. He, to bring him to Bombay, we had to call up Jaslok Hospital here and talk to Dr. Nair. And Dr. Nair said, okay, I will come to Delhi. I had to request him, please come to Delhi. We drove from Sidhbari down to Dharamshala, to Pathankot, and had to take a train. Now, I can tell you that journey was the most agonizing that I have ever gone through. Because coming in the car, every bump, every curve, I could feel. I was sitting in the car. Came down to Pathankot, and Rajbir was with me, and Shamaji came along. She came along, Rajbir, myself, and Swamiji. We got into the train. We had no, we managed to get one seat, sleeper, and the others we just bought the tickets and jumped on. So of course went to the conductor, explained everything to him, told him, look, we'll stand and go, but we have to go. This is an emergency. So he was very cooperative and said, okay. Now the berth we had got for him was, unfortunately the one upstairs. Now he couldn't go there. So there was nobody there. So, and the one below was empty at that time. So we told Gurudev, you just lie down there, don't worry. So he slept on that. Shamaji sat at his feet over there in the compartment. It was a 4-person compartment. And Rajbir and I were sitting outside the compartment and walking up and down, or we had even given enough inducement to the conductor who made his room available for us. So Rajbir and I were lying down with our, long bench like that, managing. At night we came at Jalandhar, somebody, Raji came on and he says, that is my seat. So he says, no, that one is your seat. So he said, no, that's my seat. So both Rajbir and I, towering over him, says, you really want to argue this one? Please go up. This is the problem. He's a heart patient. We have put him here. Now either you go up or we will physically put you up. So he of course realized and he went up, not very happy, but he went. Anyway, we got to Delhi. We stayed at the airport. We had to keep 100 people in check, so I sat outside his room, Rajbir and I, and stopped anyone from going into his room. then we flew back with him and Dr. Nair, who had arrived by that flight from Mumbai, the heart specialist and also a Keralite.
Nair.
Dr. K.G. Nair, I think is his full name. And then we flew from Delhi to Bombay and took him straight to Jaslok Hospital. He stayed there a few days. Then when the doctor permitted him, we brought him here.
No, he went to come there.
No, please. He came
were not
here.
here.
I was right here. I came with him. That was
Meeting
Kamala Amma was before that. This was that time. He came straight here. We had him in our room, and it was over here that again I used to sit outside his door, literally blocking everybody. And I remember how tough it was, and then in the evening so many people would come out here. Then in the evening he would come out for a short while, meet people, but the rest of the time he relaxed here until he was allowed to travel again. But that was one time when he stayed here. And before that he had also stayed here when Kavita had come and I was in Nigeria.
So you were in London.
In London, yeah.
When was that, Amma?
I can't remember the exact day, but it was in the 90s only, the 90 or 91, you know. And then he said that I want to go back to Sidhbari. And we were very apprehensive, you know, that he's just come back from Sidhbari and it was the winter season starting there in October, November. But he insisted that 6 months he was going to be in Sidhbari. He was not going to, doctor had not allowed him to lecture. He told him for 3-4 months you should not. So he said, then I'll go and rest in Sidhbari, you know. And so we said, great. He said, but it's so boring in Sidhbari. What will I do there? I said, well, you'll have people coming and meeting you there. He said, no, but I'm not allowed to talk, you know. And I said, well, what exactly are you trying to say to me? He said, you know, maybe you came with me there, it'll be nice. I said, I can't leave Laju for 6 months and come and stay with you there. He said, no, for a short while. I said, but anyway, after that, he said, after that, yes, you will go away, isn't it? Tell you what, I could go and watch, I could sit down and watch my tennis matches. I said, oh yes, that's a good idea. He said, but I don't have a television and a video there, video player. I said, that's not a problem, we'll arrange one. So immediately called Laju. I said, I want to go with Gurudev there. And we arranged to buy a television and a video. And everybody but everybody sent a whole load of tennis from the state. There was a Mr. Pillai or somebody who used to provide it. You know, so he would send. And he said, Gurudev said, see that the video player you buy, it can take the American. In those days, they used to have different.
PAL,
I said, yes, PAL system.
NTSC and PAL.
I said, yes, it's got all. So you can get videos from all over the world. And so we took that. And then that video cabinet was made for him, and the television cabinet was made for him, which is still there.
Which is still there,
And we installed him in there, and I said, after a week, you know, I said, now can I go back? He said, yes, now you can go back. Now I don't need you.
And when he wanted to tease her, he would call her bhabhi. But we went to Kashmir also that time with him.
And he went in a shikara one trip. You know.
That picture in Shikara, that is the one?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
That was a very wonderful trip we made.
He was so relaxed. I cannot tell you how relaxed he
what
was.
would be the topics like of your discussion? See,
you know, it was always very light topics in the sense he never talked about Vedanta, he never talked about religion, never talked about anything. But everything that he said had a meaning, which at that time you didn't realize that what Gurudev is saying. Gurudev never said one word which was without a meaning. There was always something behind whatever he said to you. And even as the boat was going and the shikara was going, he said once, he said, this is the way life goes and this is the way you should take it. Laughing, full of joy. And you will get the maximum out of life when you take it in the spirit in which it comes to you. See how smoothly the boat is going?
Okay.
That's the way your life should be.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, that time the boat went up and down. He said, this also will happen, but never mind.
Yeah.
The last incident I have to tell you is in 93,
Okay.
when he came to London on his way to the States.
Okay.
And everybody had advised him against traveling because his heart was only working at 26% capacity or something like that. But he said, no, I will go on till he wants me there. I'm doing his work. As long as he allows me to do his work, I'll do. When he doesn't want, finished.
Okay.
So one afternoon we are sitting and watching tennis, and my hand was on the side.
The chair rest.
Rest, and he had his hands there. And all of a sudden I felt his hand
Caressing you.
doing this. And I looked and I dared not move. I just stayed there watching the tennis, and he was just continuously doing that. I didn't realize the significance. This was June 16th, 17th, or something like that.
But was he just like an elder brother to you?
Yeah, I mean, that love you could feel just doing this.
To his younger one?
Yeah. And then next time I spoke to him was, of course, we went to the airport and.
No, but you know, before that, Laju's forgotten one incident.
okay,
One
one you
morning, telling me I have to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One morning, at 5:30 in the morning, we went in with his tea, and he was still in bed. He was not feeling well. This is 2 days before he's leaving London. So he wasn't writing his letters or anything, and I said, Gurudev, are you not well? He said, no, I am feeling lazy today. I didn't want to write letters, so I'm staying in bed. So he sat in bed and drank his tea. And so Laju was sitting on one end of the bed, and I went and sat on the other end, you know, Gurudev in the middle. Suddenly he puts his arms around both of us, you know.
Oh.
It was like he was giving us his love
Okay.
and telling us, take what you want of my love, you know. And that's something which, again, it missed, because for us, Gurudev will go on forever.
Yeah, right.
We didn't think that, you know.
But then we saw him off at the airport. Next time I went back in July, I spoke to him
Yeah.
when he wasn't, when he was in the hospital over there. And I said to him, Gurudev, shall I come? So he said, no, what will you come and do? And then a few days later, of course, he became more seriously ill. And that was July, middle of July, third week July, that he was in hospital. And then he passed away he left his mortal coils in August. But his way of saying goodbye, I can never forget that. You see, I can still sometimes feel that. And that left such an impact.
So meeting Gurudev was hesitant.
Yeah.
And then first talk floored you completely.
Yeah.
And left you with, he is your elder brother.
I mean, he was very,
That is
he appointed me as a trustee of CCMT, CTT,
Yeah.
and also TCT. So he said, I want you to oversee. And then when I once asked him, I said, Swamiji, after you, what, who? So he says, I don't own anything. Is there anything in my name? Do I have a bank account? Do I have anything? It's all for you people as trustees. Why do I appoint you? You will decide who will go on after me. I said, but Swamiji, you should have a will. He says, no. Only those people like you who own something leave wills. I don't own anything. So I can't leave a will. And that's why he never left a will. He never, wrote down instructions or anything. He says, you people will make what you want to make of the mission. I have done my work. I have shown you the way. Now it is for you.